Good evening to the class of 2021, family, friends, faculty, and staff in the Board of Trustees. Congratulations to all of you graduates. This is just simply amazing to be standing here in front of you. I have the privilege to introduce the class of 2021 Salutatorian, Shaley Nolan. Like many of you, Shaley would describe her experience in high school as busy. As well as striving towards academic excellence, Shaley served as the NHS president, secretary of student council, was a member of DECA and ski club, and was an athlete who competed on the cheerleading team and tennis team, serving as captain of the tennis team during her senior season. Shaley's most memorable moments came from her time engaging in these activities with her peers and friends as they provided her with new and exciting opportunities. One of these was presenting at a workshop on teamwork in Washington, D.C. as a part of student council. Shaley gives credit to her mom, Karen Collinsworth, and her dad, Michael Nolan, as well as the other members of her family for supporting her throughout her high school career. Her mom was always there to remind her to find a work-life balance, and her dad would bring her snacks while she worked through her coursework, which I think is the ultimate act of love. Along with her family, Shaley recognized Pinkerton Academy teachers, Mr. Terry Bailey, Mr. Dom Toro, Mr. John Fowler, and Mr. Ed Vitonis as having had a positive impact on not only her academic success, but also her personal growth. She will also cherish the memories and friendships she made during her time at Pinkerton, especially setting up the pep rally with student council and the support she received from her teammates. After graduation, Shaley will be working towards her goals of joining the Army and becoming a pediatrician. While in the Army, she hopes to be able to practice the languages she loved to learn while at Pinkerton, Spanish and German, and to learn more in her quest to become a polyglot. She is well on her way towards achieving this goal as she was awarded the 4-year National ROTC Scholarship, an accomplishment Shaley said was the culmination of all she had worked for throughout her high school career. It is not often that within a short time of meeting someone, they help to remind you of some important life lessons. But that was my experience with Shaley. She reminded me to always cherish the small moments, take time to enjoy those around you, and focus your energy on what you love to do. It is an honor to welcome to the stage Shaley Nolan, Salutatorian of Pinkerton Academy's class of 2021.
Just 1 second, have to pull out the speech. Thanks. Good evening, Dr. Nevius, trustees, Headmaster Powers, administrators, faculty, staff, parents, friends, and my fellow graduates. After 4 years of walking and zooming in and out of our classes, we made it. To start my speech, I'd first like to reenact a conversation that I had after it was announced that I'm the salutatorian of our senior class. Hey, I did it. I'm the salutatorian. Oh wow, you're the valedictorian? That's amazing. No, actually, I'm the salutatorian. What's that? That's the person who comes after the valedictorian? Oh, okay, so close, huh? I would have been so frustrated. And that I did not have a response, but I think those conversations did give me some real insight into how we tend to think about achievement. In many cases, we think about achievement as being synonymous with wearing the gold medal. Well, I got silver, and my question is, why was I so caught up about a few extra bragging rights when nothing but the order that I presented my speech and a fraction of my GPA would be different? The thing is, I don't think I'm the only one who's ever thought this way. Now I know that you've already tired your brain cells enough to be able to wear that graduation cap on your head, but I'm going to ask you to replace it with your thinking cap for just a second. Reflect back to a time that you lost. Maybe you didn't get captain of a sports team or didn't make the team at all. Maybe you didn't place out a competition or didn't get the recognition that you thought was well deserved. Maybe you didn't get the first chair in band or a solo in chorus, and maybe you bombed a test after studying tirelessly. Whatever it is, think back to that time when first place was handed to somebody else. If you're like me, then you can probably recall a blow to the pit of your stomach because you can't help but kick yourself for a simple mistake. If I were writing this speech in an English class, I would try to allude to my message and avoid those dreaded "so what" and "show, don't tell" phrases that teachers just love to scribble all over our papers. Thanks, Mahima. This time, though, I'm just gonna come right out and say it. We need to stop beating ourselves up. Instead, welcome that frustration and learn to use it as motivation. And I've been there. If you know that you could have done something different and you failed to do so, that can be defeating. That being said, whether you end up first, second, third, or even last place after giving it your all, that's a whole nother story. Despite the disappointment that we may feel, those are the moments that we have to walk our way with our chins a little higher. And whether you want to speak in figurative or literal terms, those are the moments that we grow. If anything, those are the moments that have mattered the most in the past 4 years. And those will also be the moments that can transform our resilience in the years to come. I want to share with you the prompts that I was given before writing my speech. Tonight, my role is to acknowledge and celebrate the present moment, reflect on where the class has come and where we are right now. Well, although the ticket distribution was somewhat limited tonight, I think something definitely worth celebrating is the fact that our entire class is in the same place after nearly 2 years of being distanced. Not only that, but we're doing so for the first time since our pep rally nearly 2 years ago, and the last time for the rest of our lives. I find this fascinating because although I'd like to stand up here and say I'm going to miss every single one of you, that isn't necessarily true. I say this because I haven't even talked to some of you. And on the flip side, some of you probably heard Ms. Rosmini announce my name and you didn't have a clue who was about to walk up on stage. Needless to say, there are a lot of us. And in the spirit of the prompts that I must adhere to throughout my speech, I'm going to ask you to take a moment to reflect just one more time. As a freshman, did an upperclassman ever give you the advice to just talk to people and make friends despite the fear of doing so? Has anyone ever told you that, in most cases, starting a conversation with a stranger usually doesn't end up with them telling you to go away, so you should just try? In my case, at least, that was the main piece of advice that I received. So as we're about to say farewell to Pinkerton, who else are you saying goodbye to? Did you take that advice and meet new people, or did you stick to the people that you came to Pinkerton with? Did you do both? Neither? Whatever your case may be, I urge you to either continue that trend or begin it now, because just as the people at Pinkerton have made your experience what it was, the people you encounter in the future will do the same. They have the power to change and shape your lives. To avoid any more cliches, all I'm trying to say is don't be afraid to talk to strangers. It's not always a bad thing. If anything, you should remember that having the confidence to approach a stranger is an accomplishment in itself. Maybe it landed you a best friend, maybe it sparked a romance, and maybe it just made group projects a little less awkward. Whichever it is, try to hold on to those relationships and the lessons from each one, because they play a major part in who we are today. Now, before writing this speech, I asked my friends and family what they wanted to hear. Above all else, they said, don't make it boring and don't make it long. And while these words of advice seemed equally as threatening as they were encouraging, I'm going to take them to heart by leaving you with the SparkNotes version of the rest of the lessons that my speech would include. Look people in the eye. Don't press reply all unless you're supposed to. Try to smile even when it's hard. Go outside. Play a game with your family every once in a while. Compliment a stranger. Don't apologize for being yourself. Hold the door behind you. Choose to dance rather than observe. Learn from your mistakes. Say I love you more. And finally, eat carbs and drink water. It's important. Now, if you've been dozing off for the majority of my speech, I ask you to wake up for just 1 second while I give you my final and the most important message that we should all be taking from our 4 years at Pinkerton Academy. Be kind. No matter where life may take you or whether you place first, second, or last, just be kind. Kindness is not just something that all of us deserve, but it's also something that all of us have the ability to display, so be proud of that kindness. As a salutatorian, a lot of people have asked me what my greatest accomplishment has been, but I can promise you that it has had nothing to do with class rank, because in my opinion, kindness is the greatest achievement that any one of us could accomplish, and let us never forget that. Thank you and congratulations, class of 2021.
Thank you, Shaley. During my previous life as an English teacher, one of my favorite comments to write on papers was great voice. So Shaley, great voice. At this time, I would like to invite Ms.